And this morning we've got a special guest in the studio, someone who has seen some rather significant storms in the past, both from the air and from sea.
Yes, we were talking about Lieutenant Commander Matt Maher, a Navy fighter pilot, and also Jeff Maher's brother, who is here to weigh in on this really, Jeff, what's being called historic storm.
It certainly is. And Matt, thank you for coming in and talking to us. I should say that Matt is doing some training in Fallon, Nevada, so that's why he was able to make the drive down to Sacramento to talk about this very threatening, very large, very historic storm. Thanks for coming in.
Pleasure.
First, I wanted to show you this time-lapse video from NASA. This is just crazy video of Hurricane Sandy, and I know that you've seen a lot of storms in a lot of countries flying over them, but as we look at this video here and we look at this time-lapse video, have you ever seen anything quite like this system before?
No, it's something that large on that sort of scale. I've never had the misfortune of flying near or over something like that. And when you do fly over storm systems such as thunderstorms, you can see the leading edge of the cold fronts or the warm fronts, and it's very discernible. And this is very impressive to see from the satellite imagery.
Well, we're working on getting that video. It's very impressive stuff. Typically, when you guys are flying into this stuff, are you told to avoid it? Because there's a lot of aircraft in the Virginia area and along the East Coast that is dealing with this right now.
Absolutely. From early on training, pilots are told to try to avoid storm systems whenever possible, and the last thing you want to do is be flying through anything like a thunderstorm or a hurricane. There are certain assets that NOAA uses to fly into hurricanes and do research, but generally airline pilots, military, civilian, you just want to avoid it. Land if you can, or fly around it or over it.
Well, you should also avoid it when you're on a boat down below, and some people are just not that smart when it comes to this sort of thing. There's another video that I wanted to call your attention to, and if we can bring it up here after showing some of this here. There's a video of a guy in a boat who's actually heading out to sea. That is the video that we're trying to get right now, and actually we're getting the radar at this point. But just to describe it to you, that's something that we're seeing along the East Coast, is that every now and then you see not only surfers heading out and ignoring the warning signs, but also boats as well. That is not the boat that we're looking for. We're looking for video of a boat heading out. You know what, we'll get to that in just a second. But I should mention that you lived in the Virginia area for a while. You lived in Virginia Beach. I went there and visited you a couple times. Of course, Virginia Beach is one of these areas that's kind of on notice here. What is the significance of Norfolk, Virginia, when it comes to the Navy? Because I heard that they're sending vessels and aircraft carriers out to sea to ride out the storm.
That's right. So if you own a boat, the last thing you want to do is just leave it tied up to a pier during a hurricane. It's just going to get slammed against the pilings and destroyed and damaged. So you'll see people that own personal watercraft tow them inland and park them on high ground so they don't get battered. But the same thing goes for large, important assets like the military has. You're going to want to move those assets out to sea, away from the storm. And it's not like they're heading into the storm. They're going to go avoid the storm, and then the second part of that is going to be to bring those assets back and provide humanitarian relief.
And the last thing I wanted to address is humanitarian aid. Every now and then when these big storms hit, you see a lot of the aircraft carriers actually lend help to some of those communities. And now we're looking at a video of the pier in Virginia Beach. This is something that you can relate to as well. I know both of us have been there, but if you can just address, the humanitarian effort that these carriers can provide.
Well, the Navy ships in general can provide heavy lift capability through their helicopters. They can deliver food, water, medical supplies. They have portable clinics. They have hospital clinics on board. So what you've seen in the past with Hurricane Katrina and Rita is how crucial it is to have those resources available to help out those in need.
All right, Matt, thanks for joining us.